afternoon. So sorry for being late. So yeah. So any questions or queries? So we will have a session next week for revision. So before that, for programming questions or anything related to scripts, SAR, dog, bash, if you guys have any questions, you can ask. Okay. So this is a doubt solving session, nothing else. No, we won't be like practicing or presenting anything.
So sir, I had a doubt in Vim. I wanted to ask, how do we clear like everything on the screen using one command? So I found out two ways: using %d and using $1, $D.
So this is for
Vim, V editor.
okay, VM editor. Okay.
But in 8th week, there is a lecture called Automating Scripts. And
Okay.
in that, sir is using triple forward slash to clear out the file.
Complete file.
Yeah. So
And you want
I
to
think
clear
so.
out
Like,
the complete file.
yes. So can you tell me, like, I cannot do that. How? What is like? What is happening there that I can see? I've sent you the link. It will directly take you to that exact moment where the sir is clearing out the whole file.
Okay. Okay, let me check that.
I do think that the triple forward command didn't do anything. Sir is using D to clear out each line, but I just wanted to confirm.
Okay. Just a second. So there are actually, I'm suspecting there could be this difference because of VI or Vim. I'm not sure. Let me check that.
Also, sir, isn't both sibling to each other? Like, what is like we cannot install V as like if you install any one of them, we get the same thing, right?
Just a second. I didn't hear you. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, no, I was asking like, what is the difference between V and Vim? Like, aren't they sibling to each other?
They are sibling, but Vim is more a bit advanced. That's it.
So when like at the current moment, when
Newer
if you
version.
install V, you will get Vim, right?
Where?
If we install V right now,
Yeah.
which editor do we get? V or Vim?
VI and Vim both generally in latest one they both come bundled. And if you want to install, you can install them separately, as far as I know. Just a second. Yeah, currently I think it is on my machine. Yeah, it's VI and Vim both commands work, but it's the same Vim editor only, the newer one. Hello. Yeah, you are right. I think it's Vim only. Now let me check what sir is referring for clearing the file. Hey Himanshu, so I'm trying to watch the video. What exactly what time you are referring to? Like around 17 minutes it started playing. Hello. Hey, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So has Himanshu left? The one who was interested in this question?
Sir, I am also invested because I have also tried the same thing that Sir has done with the three backslashes, but I also couldn't do it.
Okay, just a second.
So basically, I think in Vim, basically, Sir did three backslashes and then pressed enter, and that cleared the screen.
Yeah. Sir actually cleared the complete file, I guess, right?
Yeah, just a second. Let me check. Hey, so I don't know of that way of clearing the file. So I'm trying to search in the video, like where he has mentioned.
He hasn't
So
mentioned,
the
sir.
video that is, he hasn't.
Sir, he hasn't mentioned, sir. It was just displayed on the screen that he just did like that, like three slashes and enter, and then it got cleared. The whole file.
Right, sir. After three slash, like the file didn't got cleared, and he used T. If we can see, like in the bottom line, there is multiple D press. So I think he cleared the file using D, like line by line. But I just wanted to confirm, like at that exact moment, the link I gave, right?
Yeah.
So if you can see at that exact moment, he is pressing that 3/.
Okay. Okay, I can see that he has done that. Why? How is it working? He may have changed some configuration or something that I don't know.
So, sir, generally we can use those two, right? Using percentage D and one comma dollar D.
Yeah, there are more ways. One more is there that small d and capital G means not directly you can do this, but you have to be on the first line for this. So there are other ways also. You can
Right.
directly, if
Sir,
you know
is the
that the file is small and like there are only 9 lines, so you can just directly give delete 9. That also will work.
sir,
Just give
is there any way
100.
to?
It will delete. If there are less than 100 lines, it will delete everything. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, is there any way to like delete all the lines without going on the command mode, like without pressing that semicolon?
I don't know. There could be.
Sir, if possible, can you like clarify that with sir like anytime after this session?
Sure, sure. Just put a question on Discord. We will try to find. But why is this needed?
No, sir, like it's a sane way of clearing things, like without going in command mode. So for personal
Okay.
use, sir, like if I want to use VEdit, like I do use VEditor after this course. So just I
Okay.
wanted to gain a little more expertise.
Sir, can you explain the behavior of tab character \t? Like, why does it uses the variable spaces sometimes?
Can you repeat?
Sir, there was a question in the OPP. Like, we
Yeah.
had to use \t tab character to insert the variable space tab spaces basically. So why \t uses variable spaces?
Why \t uses variable spaces? No, there was no question to use variable space. It was only to use tab as a separator.
Yeah, so there
And
was a
yeah, and why \t uses how it is rendered? How \t is rendered? That depends on the application that you are using to display the text. Okay. In some play, there may be some ways where instead of tab, you want to display /t, and you can do that. So if you open the CSV file in some Excel kind of utility and specify that the separator is a tab, then there no tab will be displayed. It will be displayed in cells. The data will be displayed in cells.
Sir, actually, I used manual tabs like 4 spaces and 2 spaces and tried running the code,
So
but it wasn't
tab is a
working.
different character than for other different than 4 spaces. Okay. So do you know about ASCII values?
Yes, sir, a little bit.
Yes. So space is a character. Space has its own ASCII value, and tab character has its own ASCII value. And all the applications knows about this. Okay. So there are multiple applications where you can. So suppose you have created a CSV file with tab separated values, right? Now you can open that file in a lot of different applications. You can print it on using cat command or terminal. You can use some notepad or some gedit. Okay. You can use some Excel utility. You can even use open that file in Google spreadsheet. So it depends on where you open it and what application you are using to open that. That how that renders a tab. But every application will know a difference between 4 spaces and a single tab. Though these both are different characters for applications, right?
Actually, sir, I didn't know that, so I did a mistake.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you didn't know that, you are saying. You
Yeah,
assumed that 4 spaces is equivalent to a tab.
yeah, because I never come to know about this and like before.
Okay. Okay. Okay, anyways, the last question we may ignore it. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're not
yes.
you don't need to worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you then, sir.
Yeah. So were you able to solve other questions?
Yes, sir. I solved all the 7 questions.
Okay. Nice, good. So just try to read about characters. So how will you store a tab in memory, right? You need some binary values. Okay.
Yeah, sir. It will be better if in the next time you can explain this in one of the sessions. So it will be better for us to use this character. Some questions occur.
Yeah. So actually, the thing is that these things are not part of this course. So you guys have not done a lot of basic courses. Like there were a lot of doubts uh, which would have not been there if you guys would have studied computer architecture or operating system. A lot of your colleagues don't have a lot of exposure on what a RAM is, what primary storage is, what secondary storage is. So this concept is a similar concept and very basic one. So generally today there's one more thing. It's similar to Ascii if you want to read about, that is Unicode.
Yes, sir.
So read about that.
Okay, sir. I
Yeah.
Sir, both of these topics were covered extensively in MAD 1.
Were they? I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. We did have to solve on hex and values. Like we did have problems also, even in exams.
Okay. Okay, nice then.
And sir, there was one problem in the one of the question in the OPP. Actually, I figured it out, so I was able to do it. I was able to solve it. In the pre-written code, the one of the backtick was opened and it was not closed in the pre-written code. So we have to manually close it to run our code. That is
Oh,
why
is
it
that
was
so?
showing. Yeah, so that is why it was showing error for some of.
In which question?
Sir, I don't exactly remember, but it was like
Sir,
third,
in
fourth,
that
or fifth.
grep one, where we have to take from 4 years.
Yeah, delete the files, 1997, something like that.
Yes. So the backtick you have to close it. You are saying.
Yeah,
Sir,
sir.
it was opened but not closed. So
Not
we
closed in
also
the
have to,
pre-written code.
yeah, we also have to write the grep and the backtick to close.
Yes, that
Sir,
was expected actually, because it was mentioned that complete the command. So assigning the variable the value of the command was a single line, right?
yes, sir.
So that was expected actually.
Okay,
And
so
that this question you are saying, this is the question that most people were able to solve. This has the highest number of solutions, correct solutions.
I thought it was
So,
a
sir,
glitch.
can you share any stats about how many people were able to solve all 8 of them?
No, not now.
Okay. Sir, if not that, then what was the hardest question? Which question at least people were able to solve?
So there was no hard question. The data shows that people have not paid attention to SED and awk. Okay, so it was not like there is a question that only toppers were able to solve and others were not able to solve. It likes whatever people have studied. If somebody has not paid attention to and not practiced SED, they won't be able to solve the simplest questions of SED also, right? This is what we have observed.
Sir, I have one more request from my side,
Yeah.
something like feedback for quiz 2. Actually, I was unable to do the complete quiz 2 in the dead, given time 1 hour, because I have to read all the codes and most of the questions were like codes were given, like long codes were given, and we have to read the codes and figure out what is the option. So in 1 hour, I don't think we'll be able to read all the codes,
No,
because there are 3
so
languages.
end term would be a mix. In quiz 2, it was deliberately made a bit difficult compared to quiz 1.
Yeah. So because of that, I end up missing 2-3 questions because of the lack of time.
Yeah. So quiz 2 was deliberately made a bit difficult. Don't worry. In end term, you will get a mix of all types of questions, right?
So
And
thank you.
quiz 2 was deliberately focusing on weeks 5, 6, and 7. It's always expected. After quiz 1, whatever the syllabus is between quiz 1 and quiz 2, that will be the focus.
Yes, sir. What I was requesting is better to frame the question paper in such a way so that we will be able to do it in 1 hour, because there are 3 programming languages and we have to read the syntax and
So
figure out the
isn't your
options.
paper 1.5 hours?
No, sir, 1 hour only.
No, end term is for 1.5 hours, right?
Yes,
There is
yes.
2 terms always.
Yes.
No, sir,
There's
I'm
2
talking
shifts.
about quiz 2.
Okay, yeah. Quiz 2, we understand. I got your point taken.
Yes, sir, thank you.
So somebody is asking, is our PPS necessary for some? Are PPS submitting necessary for bonus? No, PPS have no relationship with bonus.
With respect to the practice assignment bonus, So only the assigned objective questions are evaluated for bonus, is it?
Hello, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, so my question is with respect to the practice related bonus. There is a bonus marks of 5 marks if we submit the practice assignments. So for that, PPAs are not considered, right? Just confirming.
No, PPAs are not considered.
Okay, so only the objective questions. Okay, thanks.
Yes. So questions with respect to WIM and Emacs, if there are any questions, they will be similar to the one asked in quiz 2. You don't have to practice both. So I didn't get this question, like compared to 1 hour week, which had around 16 questions. So were there only 16 questions in quiz 2? I don't think so.
No, sir, 20 questions.
Yeah, it was 20, right?
Yeah. So, sir, he's asking if we'll get same number of questions in end term also.
That's not yet. It depends on professor.
So can I request something?
Yeah, hi Puneet.
Hi, sir. So you said we have not got proper concepts of SED and AWK OP, and it takes me a long time to solve a problem. I mean, even if I figure out the logic, especially on the portal, is it possible that if we have time today, you can spend 10-15 minutes to cover the main concepts for OC and SED?
Okay, main concepts as in
Just the way it is structured and what we can do. What are the top 2-3 things we can do with each command, like in our real work? When we do data science, things like substitute, we know that is very important in SED to substitute text. Then in AWK, how to do subtotals of columns. So these are the things I've been searching online and trying to solve them on my own. So what, from your point of view, what is important for us to learn?
okay.
What are the things? Yeah, I mean, then after that we'll do research, we'll figure it out. So
Okay. So awk and sed utilities. Initially there was no awk, right? Sed was only the text utility. So
yes, ED.
yeah,
I mean, before said,
yeah.
I had
Before sed
only
also, yeah, it was ED. Yeah. So now the thing is that awk is much more powerful. So instead of substitution and very few topics I can think of, those are very efficient with awk. Otherwise, sorry, those are very efficient with sed. Otherwise, awk can accomplish much more tasks. Okay, this is how I see it from all the functionalities that are available in awk.
okay. So if I do
Right,
only awk, I can skip SED. I can do everything in awk when I could have done in SED.
but you have to write more code for some scenarios.
Okay, okay. So they're not inbuilt commands like SED is specialized for.
So there are some action. So these are actions available. There are some actions available in sed, right? Like delete, substitute, append, insert. Okay, change current line. So these are the actions available. And before actions, instead we give the filtering mechanism. Okay, where we want to which lines we want to work on, or something like we want to work only on lines that matches this pattern. So these things can be done. So if you want to do there was a question in OPP also, that and even in assignments, that if you want to do something every 10th line, so there is a construct for that in sed, but in awk
Right.
you will have to write a for loop.
So
you can
can't I
do
do it? I can't do nr mod 10 equals 0, something like that in awk.
That's what I'm saying. But you will have to run you have to write that
Oh, okay,
specifically.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. And from which line to start? NR mod 10 plus something you will have to do. If I say that start from line 2 and every 10th line, then it is not directly NR mod 10.
Okay.
But
But
in
there
this,
is something
inside,
called nr equal 1 and nr equal 10. It will do only between those two limits, right?
yes.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
carry on, sir.
And suppose if you want to, so there is an output field separator in awk. There is an output record separator in awk. You can just set these values in begin block or any other block also. And then this will give you the end result directly. So these things may not be possible in our set. Okay. So that's why you would have observed that the questions on set we have given are simpler one only.
Like what, sir? I mean, I've not attended the OPP
No,
as yet.
assignments. I'm talking about assignments.
Okay.
If you see the assignments, you will see that set questions are a bit simpler tasks that we want you to accomplish.
Okay.
So most of the assignments are one line answers in set. Only there is one last GRPA that requires you to write a set script. Because awk is much more powerful and you can accomplish a lot of things with awk.
Okay. So in the finals, okay, just out of curiosity, again the focus will be on awk or sed or simple sed only.
So it's not there would be some focus on this or that. Like everything will have some weightage.
Okay, I understand. So you want us to know at least the things that we can do said easily in one line. That is minimum requirement, right?
Yeah, those you can do straightforward with set.
Okay. And in awk,
Okay.
what is your expectation from us?
So suppose I will tell you one example just
Please.
now that I used a simple set statement for. So while designing some of the questions and where I had to give you the sample input output, right? So I gave you, we have given you sample inputs for some ls commands. Okay, but when I run ls minus l, so when I run ls minus l on my machine, the username and group name that is shown as my name, Ankur. Okay,
Yes.
but I didn't want to give that, so I just did a ls minus l and piped and user said replace Ankur with user.
Okay.
First instance, then I used another statement, now replace Ankur with group. So if I would have used g for global, it would have replaced all user keywords with all Ankur keywords with user word. Okay,
Okay. So
both.
you use a /1/2 instead. That's what you're saying.
No, just simple
No?
S is for replace s slash Ankur slash user.
That will
User
replace the
one.
first one. That will only replace the first
That
instance.
will only replace the first one. Second one will remain. So I have used another pipe. I will again pipe the input.
Okay.
And now I will do the same thing, but with, I will replace it with not user one, group one.
Okay. So couldn't we have done that with /1/2 in the same command?
Inside?
Yeah, inside.
Yeah, we can do that.
You could have done that, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. See, I'm learning sets and I spent the whole night practicing. So
Yeah. So side is slash one is equivalent as not giving anything.
right, same
Similar.
thing. Right. No,
That's
but
all.
then so what happens if after replacing the first one, does the second one become the first one in the same command? If I have a
No,
second
so if you
piping.
have understood pipe, so for pipe, when you pipe one command's output to another command's input, so it doesn't know what where the input is coming from and what was the original input. It doesn't care about that.
Okay.
That command doesn't even know.
Okay, so it'll be a serial input as
So
in that time.
yeah, so these are actually processes in themselves, right?
Okay, right. So
Yeah.
this one I understood. Substitute is easy. What else should we know? I mean, your expectation about set from us.
So now the other thing is like, how will you insert a line in awk?
Okay, like adding comments. That was there in our exam, like adding comments.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Insert and
Yeah.
append before, like
Actually,
below and above.
that was part of GRPA 5 also.
Okay, so that was right. Adding a line the beginning of the file, adding a
We
line at the
actually,
end.
yeah, I
Right.
think in one of the live sessions we discussed that GRPA 5 with you only.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. So in that question, that exact question, we have that to insert.
Okay, so the inserting is something important and easily done in set. Okay.
Inserting. So, yeah. Okay. So these kind of things you should pay attention. And so, what programming language currently you are exposed to?
So currently I'm learning Python again. I'm an old timer, sir. I have done assembly language and COBOL growing up. I mean, when I was
Okay.
in college.
Okay.
And then Fortran, Pascal, then Visual Basic for 10 years, then web, little bit of web development.
Okay. So for you, actually, awk would be much more like syntax friendly.
Intuitive. Yes, it's more intuitive for me.
Yeah.
Awk is very intuitive for me.
Awk syntax would be much more friendly for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So generally, in my experience, see, I will tell you where Bash is generally being used. So most of the testing platforms for testing, a lot of testing happens using Bash, Python, a mix of all these things. You have some scripts written in Python, then you have some scripts written in Bash. From Bash, you can call any program, right?
Sir, what kind of testing specifically?
Unit testing, system testing.
So
So
I
no,
can
I'm
give
not talking about I'm talking
examples.
this about in systems field. Okay.
Right.
So if you write some program in Java, suppose currently if you are writing some you are working on some software, the code is written in C# or Java. Now for that unit testing, what you will do is unit testing is just testing some I will say, suppose you are testing just one function. Okay, so you will just try to call that function in unit testing with some general values, and then you will check for the expected results, expected return value. Okay, so all these things can be done directly from like if you are working in a systems background, you are working on C or C++. So for that development, Linux is a has a lot of tools for that. So you can combine Bash, Python, everything. That's what I'm saying. So for debugging also, you have Valgrind. So if there are some memory issues, so you don't if you don't work in C, you won't even know that there are you won't notice easily that there are memory issues, memory leaks, and all those things, right? So for like debugging memory leaks, you already have these tools. So now for running Valgrind, after you have run Valgrind, now you have got some dump of some data. Now either you have some logs or you have some logs, some data from Valgrind. So generally a lot of people use grep in industry. Grep is used extensively for searching. And so I would say if you want to learn something which is very useful in everywhere, that is regex.
Yes, sir. I agree. I'm very weak in that, but
Yeah,
I
so
see it's
learn
very
regex.
powerful.
Regex you have to, and the 98% times I have seen the syntax for regex, like people use the standard
Yes, sir. I
in
know.
in almost all of the programming languages that I have seen. Now 2% I'm just giving the benefit of doubt to those some languages or some people who don't want to use that the standards. So
Yes, sir.
regex is one thing. So if you
I-
see about regex, you will need regex in filtering the lines in awk, in sed. Okay, even for grep you will need that. So if we talk just about our course also, regex is being used in all three.
yes, sir. As you mentioned testing, my test team also uses regex and scripting to check even the coding style of my development team.
Okay.
They're doing that also, yes. So somebody asked about testing. I'll just give it in 2 sentences. So every night it takes in the checked in code, downloads it, it copies it to the different platforms that we support, tries to execute it there, gets the feedback, checks the environment variables, again prepares a report, and then sends it to all the developers in the morning. That this is successful, this is not successful. And what's successful again is published for the next team to evaluate. Okay, all right, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, when will we get the OPP results?
OPP results you will get like I think after OPP 2 you will get very soon, like in 2-3 days you will get it.
Or before end?
I think so. If there is a policy of not publishing it, I will check with these guys. If they don't want you guys to know the results so that you don't think of it before your exams, then I don't know.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because that may happen. What is the pattern in other subjects? It would be same year also.
Yes, sir. It is same. Actually, 27 we have PDSA and DBMS. OPP
No,
also.
when are the results published for programming exams? I'm asking. After the
No,
end sem or before the end exam?
they are also not clear about this.
So this
No,
term
Sir,
I'm
as
asking
far as I
about
can
last time.
remember,
Like
it is
what happened in Python?
before this
uh,
end term. Before.
Before end sem, yeah. Before end sem.
Okay. Yeah.
This term is
So
delayed. This term everything is delayed, sir. You also know. So yeah, slightly different this time.
okay. Okay.
sir, since we talked about C++, if we are to learn a new low-level language, should we start with C++ or Rust?
C++ or hello?
Rust lang.
Rust. I don't have any exposure to Rust, but like there are two types of people who people use C++ in different ways. Some people use C++ as a completely object-oriented language. Okay, they don't. If you see their code, it will be very similar to any other object-oriented language. Okay. So if you want to learn, firstly, don't try to think in these terms that you should learn a low-level language. I don't think this is anything that matters in the industry nowadays. Language is one thing I would say, but it is not a strict rule nowadays, and you should work on your problem-solving skills. Okay, if you know how to write a program, the thing is that computer can only do enough. That there are instructions, you can give only those instructions to computer. Now you can give those instructions using any language, but beyond that the intelligence has to be generated by your program. Okay, so for loop, if condition, these things you will find in any language, only the syntax will change. So I don't think language should be a bar for you. Pick any language, just work on your problem solving skills. In my experience in a lot of product companies, they don't even they don't uh, say what language you should know. They will ask you what language you want to work on in interviews. And after that, they won't even ask what language you want to work on. They will ask for domain or what type of work you want to do. It doesn't depend what language you will be using there.
Okay, sir, I was asking because like C++ has some feature like memory management and all that. And
Yes.
currently I know Java, Python, JS, all these things. So I
Yes.
do not have that much experience. Rust has something. Rust has garbage collector inbuilt, so
Okay.
that is one feature. So that's why what like I was asking. Like I do not have all this experience, and
Yes.
to
Yes.
get them, I do have to use one language. So I was asking.
So even if you practice these things, you won't encounter the real problems in your small when you try small problems. Okay. So I will tell you what things happen in when you are working on memory. So so there are sometimes if you have read about shared memory, have you read about that?
Like I can relate to if you speak.
Yes. So the thing is that these things you would have read in theory sometimes, that more than one programs or more than one thread share some memory. Okay, and the values there can be inconsistent because of this sharing. So that is a different topic altogether. That's why I don't want to get into that topic. But these are the things that you may not encounter even if you try to practice a small programs. And if you get a good source where these things are mentioned, and you are given some examples that you can write, and you can create two threads, and you can try to like generate these issues, then that is a good source. Otherwise I think just pick one language, and I think pick one or two language, that's it. No. And try to practice as many problems as you can, because
Okay, sir.
yeah, because the thing is that if you know how to do things in one language, and so there are some concepts I agree that so suppose if you have practiced C and Java, okay, then Python is something different, a bit different. So that would read around a few more days for you to learn some new concepts in Python. But if you are very good at Java, and I ask you to work on C sharp, like it won't be that different like working on Python from Java. Okay.
Okay, sir. About threads, we have threads in Java. We since I took Java in this term, I do have experience with that. But they are
Yeah.
like handled by the Java itself. So we do not have that much of deep. Like we cannot customize threads that much.
Yeah, but you can customize them, like you can configure them to great extent. Very big
Yes.
softwares are written in Java.
Yeah. So for now, I will go with Java, and if time further down the line, I can try to choose one of them, right?
Yeah, you can. But
Okay.
yeah, but going with today's trend, like Python is also being used a lot.
Right. Python, sir, we will use like directly because we are in data science. So
Yes. So there are industries, and every industry has their preference, not because of some people sitting there. It's not because of those people. It is because of multiple factors. Either there is a lot of legacy code, they cannot change it to some other language easily, or it is the basic requirement for like one of the roles that I was in. It was a storage company. So there we had to write the code in C, because the thing that I was working on was file system. Okay. So there we were writing a garbage collector in C for the file system. So it
right.
was,
So sir,
yeah.
no, please go ahead.
So that's what I'm saying. So, but now if you ask me how many, what is the percentage of that job, those kind of jobs today out of all the jobs? So I don't have a figure, but I know that is not a lot.
Right. Sir, I'm not very concerned about job, right?
Yeah.
At this point. So I was asking, like, is inbuilt garbage collector a bad thing? Like that is what I generally read if I go looking on this topic.
No. It depends. Like that's what I'm saying. It depends on your use case, what you want to build through it. Okay. So
Okay.
if you want to build something that I was talking about, a file system, a log-based file system, especially. Okay, where you cannot delete anything as soon as the file is deleted. You cannot delete its blocks. If you are building that kind of file system, you cannot use Java easily. because there you have to, it's not about the file system blocks, it's about managing your own B trees because of the namespace. So I may not be able to explain you in detail this thing, I don't know, but the thing is that it depends on the application that you are trying to build. People select the technologies based on that,
Right. So no,
not
I
just
did
based
understand.
on
Like we had.
not just based on garbage collector. If it is if your garbage collector is full fledged, and if that is the only thing that will block you from using Java for some uh, if you are developing some portal, so that's not the only thing. You think of a lot of in terms of libraries also. What libraries are available in that language? Are they sufficient? Are there anything missing? Okay, so these are the things that people consider while choosing it.
Okay. Okay. Sir, one last question, like just out of curiosity. Sir, do you think Python is the default de facto language for data science because of its legacy code, or or anything other that is not known?
I don't have a lot of experience with data science as such, but from whatever I have read, it is because of the interest of people that are working in Python. They have generated a lot of libraries in that. Okay. So generally, if you see Python, it is not a very fast language. Okay. But and Python is itself written in C. So what people do it, what people have achieved. One example I will tell you. In Python, there are matrix operations. You would know about that NumPy library, right? NumPy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what they have
Yes.
done is, so there are some matrix operations. They are directly calling some C code to run those operations. So it becomes very fast. Okay, so now people have started extensively using it. What happens is it is slow at some. So this is not something that is done just this year. This has been done some years back, but this is how it is developed. This is how it has evolved for data science. And I have heard that, yeah, people use Python extensively nowadays.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, any questions for related to our course? Anybody?
Hi, sir. You said regex. After regex, what else should I learn, sir? Focus on finals and work.
After regex. Okay, so I will tell you in a nutshell what. So this is specially for you, and so if you know a lot of, you already know a lot of bits about programming, right? So you will definitely face a lot of issues with bash syntax. Okay, so try to practice some problems where you have to use if condition for like 2-3 times, so that you know how to use brackets and what brackets can be used, what brackets cannot be used, what are the string matching operators, what are the operators for matching numbers. So
Okay,
these
sir.
things are not very straightforward.
Right.
Yeah, so try to practice these things. Then for loop and while loop, these things if you practice once or twice, then it's okay, you are done with that. You would be able to do it. So
Understood.
if you know how to assign a variable, how to use a variable, and once one for loop you have practiced, then you like you would be good. Okay. And the other thing is that if we ask so suppose in the last exam we asked you to move the files. A lot of files are there, you don't know how many files, and you have to move these files to different folders. Now definitely you will have to use a loop, right? So if you know how to use a loop, and you already know how to move the files from your weeks 1 to 4, you know those commands.
So repetition and conditional, these two are
Yes,
important.
so yeah, definitely. And so suppose if I change the question to something else where you have to use the loop, now you already know how to use the loop. Okay, now if I ask you to delete a file, you just have to change the, you just need to know the command that you need to use inside the loop. Okay, you're getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is regarding bash. And
So any trick to learn about that square bracket calculations and numerical calculation, normal parenthesis? How do you remember that?
okay, so what I do is I try to use only one type. So the thing is that some comparisons would be easy with two square brackets. Now if I am focusing on single square brackets, and it takes like it takes for me to write some extra bits, then I will write those extra bits, but I will stick to one at least, for at least those tasks that can be done by it.
Okay.
So
So double
better I would
bracket
say,
is
yeah, double
more
bracket.
gives you more functionality.
Yes. So
Okay.
use that. So for example, I will give you an example. If you want to use or and AND, okay. So if you use single square brackets, you will have to open and close. Then you will have to write or. Then again you will have to open and close and write the second condition. In double square brackets, you don't have to do that.
Oh,
You
I didn't
can
know
just,
that.
yeah, you
Okay.
can just write and or on inside it. But now the problem is that if you practice both, then you may get confused at some point.
Yeah, happening to me, sir.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very helpful.
So for example, there is a option in bash for and I can use brace expansion. Okay. So for I in some set of values, that can be done. And for I can also do for I equal to 1 from, and then I is less than equal to something something. Right. So the thing is that most of the task, if you are not using some command output or something, then that can be done using the using assigning your value to a variable and then checking if it is less than or not. So there are two ways you can learn this. One is everywhere where you have to use values and you don't want to learn the other syntax of for, you just want to learn the syntax of for where you have where you use I in or some variable in, then just learn that. And for all everything else, you learn why, so you won't get confused in two different syntaxes of for. Because you already have done a lot of programming, so you know that everything that can be done with a for can be done with a while, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then if you come to awk, so yeah, let me tell you the one thing that if you refer to cheat sheet, that will be very helpful. There we have given examples of for loop, if condition, for even bash also, for awk also. So if you find that you are confused between these two, just refer to the cheat sheet. It's available during the exam.
Yes, sir. And final exam also?
In final exam,
There's no
no,
programming, right? There's no
no,
programming.
there is no programming. And if there is anything, so there you don't have to write some for loop or a while loop. And there we won't try to confuse you on the syntax.
Right. It'll be like the
That's why.
quizzes, right? It'll be
Yeah,
multiple choice, man, like the quizzes.
it will be multiple choice. And in quiz also, you would have observed that we have not tried to confuse you on in terms of syntax, that somewhere in one question we are using one side we are giving double square brackets and we are closing only single square bracket and we are asking if there is an error. No. So we will try to if we are asking for error, to find errors, then those will be logical, like using some value of a variable without even assigning it 0 or something like that.
Right, sir. So I assume that the final exam will be similar to the quiz and the graded, right? Nothing new as such. Nothing
No,
different.
nothing new,
Right. Okay. Except Git and maybe
except
did
the
you ask about
topics,
Git? Okay, yeah. Except
except
the topic.
the, yeah, last week topics.
Right. Okay, sir. Thank
So the
you.
thing is that last week topics are such that we cannot ask you to write the code on portal because of the permission security issues. Otherwise, we would have included that in the OPP.
So maybe and in the future you could combine with another course like tools in data science, that we can do one combined project using what we learn in your course and the tools in data science course, and do one project instead of these small exams. Make it more hands-on focused.
But the thing is that yeah, we'll have to come up with something because the strength is very huge. It is around 750 students.
Yes, sir. All the more. So if you make them into groups, like groups of 5 to do one project, or groups of 8 to do a project together, and you have to work, we have to collaborate on a Linux server. We will
Yes.
all have logins, we'll all
So
work, we'll all share files, give permissions. That's the
so
best way to do.
this is what we were thinking in this term also. But
Okay.
the logistically and other things we were not very sure. Like we were thinking in these terms because we have Git, right? Git is part of our course.
Right, sir.
So we could have asked, we could have given projects where in group of four people have to solve different problems. But they have to like write some 4 features.
Yes, sir. There could be integration also. So output of one
Yes.
affects the operation of the
Yes.
next one. Right.
Yes.
Yes. That's a good
So
idea.
something like that we were thinking, but the portal currently there are limitations.
Yes, sir. We are not
So we will,
discussing.
yeah. So as soon as we get like what we want to accomplish, like we have decided that, just we will share that with portal team and that will be developed in some time.
Okay. Sir, this is I'm asking from myself and others. How do we debug in the OPP? Because it's taking me 90% of the time trying to find out a syntax error in my code also sometimes.
So if it is a bash question, you can use any command to debug. Just write a command, write a echo statement or print statement anywhere, and you can debug it. We
Okay.
ourselves do debug a lot of issues on portal while we are configuring, right?
Okay, sir. For me, sir, the echo doesn't work all the time. I tried debugging, putting echo statements. It doesn't show up because sometimes it's encapsulated in your test code.
Yeah, but it will work because your code is run. If your code is run, okay,
Uh-huh.
and if your code is run and initially it will happen that while configuring there were a lot of issues. So we tried a lot of things and we tried redirecting your script output somewhere else. But in exam we didn't do that. In exam, in
Okay.
any of the bash questions, if you write a echo statement, it will print.
Okay.
Just the problem is that if there is a issue in your code, then it won't print. If there is a syntax
Right,
error
sir.
in your code.
Yeah, usually when I'm using my IDE to write code, let's say Visual Studio Code, and I'm
Yeah.
editor and I'm writing bash there, it gives me
Yeah.
a proper error, line number, everything.
Yes.
I don't see that on the portal, and for me, it's very difficult to.
Now on the portal also, yeah, after like after initial weeks, one or like initial 2-3 weeks, like what we started doing was we were redirecting all your script in a script file, and then we ran that script from the suffix code, invisible suffix code. So in that way, you will know the exact line number of your script where the issue is, because we are
Okay.
running your code as a script, separate script file.
Oh, okay. For the GRPAs, it didn't show me any errors properly. I mean, didn't give me the debug messages properly.
In which week?
So I stopped doing GRPs in week 7, I think 6 or 7.
No, so in case of awk, no, in case in week 6 and 7 week also it should give you.
I know, so that's when I stopped. I put it on discourse also that I'm not going to do any more GRPAs.
So
Not
in
before.
week seven there were no such.
So around that
Uh,
time, I'm saying yes. So
no,
before
no,
the quiz,
in week 7, anyways, you had to just write a single line answer said. So I will tell you what happens if we don't dump your script in a file. Generally, what happens on portal is that it combines everything the prefix code, your code, suffix code, and invisible code. Okay,
Into one
it
slide, into
combines,
one script. Yes.
yeah, into one script, and it tries to run that. So the line numbers will be like depending on our prefix code. If there's no prefix code or if there's nothing appended,
Okay. I'll test
then
it now. I'll with the mock will work, right, sir? I can test it on the mock today.
I am not sure how we configured mock. Actually, mock we have copied the questions as it is.
Right. So we'll test it, sir. I'll test it today.
No, we have copied the question, some of the questions as it is from graded assignments in mock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but OPP, what I am saying is that we will dump your all your code in a different script file and we run it.
So next time have it same, sir. Have it consistent, so we know that we get predicted output.
Yeah, but in this way, you will lose the use of single quotes. Then you will have to use the single quotes by using 4
Escaping
characters.
it. Right. By escaping
Not just escaping it. You have to use 4 characters for it. We have given that in cheat sheet.
Right. Initially, yes, the rules. I
Yeah.
remember.
So so these all things we came up because of the portal issues. But these things have the benefit of giving you the error and line number. The limitation is you cannot use single quote directly. That's the only limitation actually.
Right, sir.
Yeah.
I'll just anyway, I wanted to appreciate. Thank you for everything you're doing on the portal, even because of the portal issues. So, sir, I think somebody else has a hand raised, so I'll just let go.
Sure. Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
So for the portal issue for question number 1, there was a second question was that we had to delete an empty file.
Delete an empty file?
We had to delete all files which were size 0.
Yeah, okay.
That was the second question in my list of things.
Okay.
If you're saying how you configure, I wrote the code, I think I wrote it on the Discourse forum also. But the input was modified to the output. I could see one file was missing. But I had written wrong code and it somehow executed.
No, one file was missing.
See, the input had a list of files if you'd see in the configuration.
Okay.
Input had a list of names.
Yeah.
There were 5 names. When I ran my code, which was wrong, it was supposed to fail. But in the output, I was getting 4 files.
Okay, just a second. This is question number
2. It was 2. It is just delete files whose size is 0.
Yes.
See, what I wrote was, you put size is equal to 0, location is current location, dot as a PWD, and you execute RM with each file. Because RM does not delete empty directories, so just delete it. Now observe what happens to the output.
So the question is to delete empty files,
Yes.
not empty directories.
So RM will not delete empty directory, no, sir. RM will only delete files.
Yes.
So find location is current directory, size is equal to size, argument size, space 0, option execute, and you give that bracket and that I stopped there. Now see what happens. Instead of showing an error or showing nothing, it shows something else.
Sorry, I'm not getting you. You have written a script for this, right?
No, I see my command is find.
Okay, you have written find command. Yeah.
After find, you have to write a path. So my path is dot, which is current directory.
Yes.
I want my size. I've given an argument. My size should be 0. Dash size space 0.
Okay.
Now with this command, I will get all my files which are of size 0.
Okay.
Then I've given it an argument dash execute.
Dash exec, yeah.
Dash exec, and I've given a space and RM and bracket.
Yeah.
Now each file should remove because directories, even though they come, they will not be removed by RM.
Okay.
But if in the output, it's actually there are that column and slash is missing. The end terms are missing in this. I did not write the end term if you observe.
So in output, actually, we have, so you have deleted some files, right? Your script has deleted a few files.
Yes.
Okay. We cannot write any echo statements or print statement inside of your script. Okay.
No, but see,
So what we have done is,
Hmm.
first understand how the configuration is. So what we have done is that after you have deleted the files, we expect the remaining files to be there in the directory.
But the code it
So we print all the directories in the current directory, and we expect only the remaining files to be in the ls output.
Sir, if I've written a wrong command, it is still executing, right? I did not complete the command itself. It should not execute at all. In my terminal, it shows an error, but in portal, it executes and it removes one file, and there is no reason for removing that one file. That is what I'm trying to explain. If you do the same command in my terminal, it will clearly show error, and I will see I'm missing one colon and one slash. That is why it is missing error.
Okay, so I don't know. So like there is a Linux installed on on which portal runs, and any command that you give there, that is run by the Linux. So neither portal team has written any code how to execute that. Neither in our configuration it is mentioned how to execute that command. So actually I don't know why it is happening, and I will have to test actually that
That is
if
what I'm
it's
saying.
happened.
And second case, for each question, you're only putting one public test case, sir. So it, without any portal debugging and without only one public test case, it becomes very difficult for us to isolate what is happening.
No, so
Like
one public test case, I think it is enough.
No, sir. Suppose VK TPA1, there is one question for move files from all files from one directory to another directory. That is a simple question.
Yes.
But for that, if you had 2-3 questions where we understand that there are directory inside directory, directory inside directory.
No, we
then
mentioned
we will
that
write a different
specifically.
way and understand that. But
No.
you just give a simple question, then for us it has become difficult to understand the question.
No, for that we give you specific instructions that we write all the assumptions also. Okay, that you don't have to go to the subdirectories. So all those things will be written.
In this question, VK PPA1, nothing is written. So PPA1 or 2. It is just written ki right, move from one directory to another directory. No assumptions, nothing is written.
In PPA, it's for practice. There we may have missed a few things. Yeah, we agree that. In PPA, we may have missed. But in programming exam and in GRPS, we try to be as clear as possible.
Because one question, with one public test case, I am facing an issue because there is no debugging. Because most students like me, I think we add one command after one command, we echo it, and then find the answer. So that way it becomes difficult, but not that the questions were difficult. But
yeah, that's why the questions are not difficult. And let me talk about the test case thing also. So these are not very algorithmic questions, or there are corner cases or something like that, right? So that's why I was saying that one test case is enough. So if I give you, if you talk about PDSA course, algorithms course, or some complicated program in Python, where there are different cases, different inputs, and different kind of outputs. So there a lot of test cases matter. Okay, but here, so if I give you, if I want you to delete empty lines, if I give you two empty files, and out of 5, 2 are empty files, just delete 2. Rest 3 will be remaining. If I give you 7 files, out of that 3 are empty files. So that is not a different test case. That is just a redundant test case I am saying. So one test case is yeah, there's one different test case here, that there are some directories also that we don't want you to delete, so that we add. Okay, so there are not a lot of actually not a lot of test cases that we can generate. These are so simple questions.
So week 4 PPA2 also is a case where the question asks for something and the test case does not test for it, and we keep on spending time for it.
Which one?
Week 4 PPA2.
Week 4 PPA2, you are saying? Okay, there could be issue there. So, but the thing in PPA is that if you find some issue in PPA and you put that issue on discourse immediately, So, and we try to solve it immediately. So the thing is that in GRPAs, if we find an issue, it happened once or twice. If we find an issue in GRPA, we have to ignore that question entirely for evaluation. So in PPA, I agree that people were a lot of people were not solving, and we were not like getting a lot of comments on what is the issue. Now, what week 4, if you would have told at that time, we could have fixed that. What's the issue? Like, it would help us.
Sir, week 4, the issue is simple. Week 4, it's week 4 PPA 1, sir.
Yeah.
See, it asks for deleting only directories but not files,
To
which
print the
have
name
other
of,
users have RWX permission. You configured your test case, only one file is given. In that also RWX is not given. So there is no point at all for us training the question.
no, RWX is not given, I mean.
Sir, see, the question says key, you have to delete only, you have to
Print. You have to print the name of the directories that have read, write, and execute permissions for other users.
But it should not contain files.
Okay.
If you're printing only directories, it means you should not contain files, right?
Your output should not contain files.
Yes. So you have configured only one test case for file in the public test case.
One test case for file.
Yes. There in the test case, there is only one. In that, whatever is the input, there is only one file, one folder, which is one file is only there.
No, in the test case, that input is not for you actually. That input is just to differentiate between public and private test case 1 and 2.
Because I have written, I did not check whether it is a directory or it is a file, even though it is passing all public and private.
So you don't have to. So this is not a question where you have to work on input and give an output. This is the question where you have to work on the contents of current working directory.
So that is what I'm saying. See, if you asked for key to filter it, so I am mostly concentrating on that filtering part, right? But that does not matter only in the test cases.
No, I didn't get you. So you have to work on the current working directory contents. If you want to see what are the contents of current working directory, just do ls -l and it will print.
I am able to see the current working directory, sir. My point is, see, you configure the question in such a way that even if I'm worried or not worried about the directory question, it is passing both public and private cases.
If you are worried or not worried about current working directory.
No, the worried
file.
About this directory or file difference.
Okay, if you print the files also, it will pass the test case.
It will pass everything. So you are asking for that. I'm working half an hour trying to differentiate that. And in the end, I'm seeing it is not at all that relevant to that. It will pass both private and public cases. So
actually, when I see the configuration, there are no files at all.
There is one file, sir, test.sh.
Test.sh, that is created automatically.
That is only one file which is created. I think that is only it is showing. That is shown in input test.sh. One file.
Yeah, and if you print that also,
there is no point. It does not have RWX permission, so that does not matter at all.
No, so what you are saying is if you print test.sh in the output, even then after that also the test case will pass.
Because that does not have that RWX case, right? Sir, I'm telling you why I'm confused with this question. See, you clearly asked to print name of directories. So I'm working on splitting directories and file my whole time for half an hour.
Okay, and if you print files also, then also it will pass.
Then also it is passing public. So I'm confused. After the course, I realized, okay, this is the problem. But when the course was going on, for 1 hour, I'm searching where is the problem. So okay, that way it becomes difficult for us.
Let me do one thing. Let me see if I can share the screen.
After the course, we can say this is the issue there, it is something there. But during the course, when you are learning something for the first time, it becomes very difficult.
Okay, so tell me the code that will pass the test case, and that's not right.
Just how can I put it? It is difficult to put it. ls.l,
Yeah,
pipe it to grep, capital
yeah,
E,
yeah.
double quotes, RWX,
Simple RWX.
a boundary,
Yeah.
pipe it to cut,
Boundary, boundary in the sense?
dash B,
Dash
RWX slash B,
D.
B, boundary,
Okay,
word
B.
boundary. WB is word bound, W slash backslash B.
Okay, backslash B.
And cut with delimiter space and an argument field number 12.
Cut delimiter is space and argument is field number 12.
So this
That's
will
it.
pass both public and private test cases.
And it will print the test.sh also, you are saying.
No, it will not print, but it is not checking for that file or directory thing, right? There is the test case is not configured for checking that file or directory thing.
No, it's not because of that. It's because there are no files with RWX permission. I am saying that's why.
So you should add some cases like that, Mr. where you're checking for RWX.
Yes.
That is what I'm saying. If you ask for that thing only, to add 1 or 2 cases where you're checking for that.
Yes. So the problem in this is that even a simpler solution that is not exactly correct, that will pass the test case.
Yes,
Saying.
like that, there are many questions. This is only an example. I have many questions where we can do this and they will pass.
So it's good for you. Yeah, it's good for you. Yeah, it's good for your learning that you have found out all these mistakes.
So after the course, coming from a non-programming background, I'm comfortable with whatever you have taught in the course. But next time, people should not be facing issues, right? Where we are spending hours and hours on it, 2 marks.
No, but why? What is the problem in this test case that like wasted your 1 hour? That I'm still not able to understand.
Sir, because I was mostly
so the example that you gave. Listen me, hear me. So the example that you gave, that is not a correct solution, right? And it will pass. So if you try to give this in 2 minutes, you will think that your answer is correct.
Yes, but I wasted time because I am not sure ki I am trying to delineate between directory and file, writing various types where I'll start with D and not start with D or something. And we had a time where you had to add semicolon, remove semicolon was for 10 days. We had that session. So that way it becomes difficult for us for each question. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understood what you are saying. That the test case are not elaborate. I understood that.
Initially my question is.
So let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. What our policy is. So because of the limitations and because there are a lot of test cases, as a human we can miss. What we try to do is we try to accept anything. We try to configure it in such a way that wrong answer may pass the test case, but right answer should never fail to pass the test case. Otherwise, that will waste your time. Okay, both the problems are problems. Try to understand what I'm saying.
To understand what should our approach be becomes very difficult for us, because we will be adding some one word, removing one word, and trying, okay, this will be right, this is not right. So without any test cases, it becomes difficult for us to delineate, okay, this is happening here, this is not happening here.
Yes, but PPAs are generally for practice, and there we may have missed some things. So you can easily configure this on your, just create one file in one directory and you can check it on your machine. It's very simple for PPA. Just create one file.
Machine, it becomes very different. On the machine, we are so able to solve many things. But when it comes to the portal, it becomes a totally different issue.
No, if that command is working on your machine, it will definitely run on portal for displaying the directories that have read, write, and execute permissions. So
Okay,
I
sir.
got your point that in some PPAs the test cases were not elaborate. In some in very few GRPAs also we could have missed that. We have
And
not
for
covered the
one
corner
small
cases.
request ki for a set script, could you write external script file karke?
External scripts file for?
When you use the term set script,
Yeah.
can you write it instead of set script? Can you write external set script file so that you can be more explicit?
External side script file.
See, you are writing the
Okay.
word set script when you expect a file, when you expect the answer to be a file kind of answer.
When we accept the script, that can
When,
that
when
will
you
be
accept,
run.
when you expect the answer to be a set script file answer.
Sed script we call it.
हाँ, तो can you write external set script file करके? So that you understood the difference what I'm trying to make. See the word you use when you suppose you are asking a question.
We try to use the same words that are being used in the lectures. So because
The
this
lecture also use external set script file. That is why it is very explicit. We are not getting confused whether we should write sed command or sed script or something.
okay, so that's what in lecture it was mentioned sed command and sed script.
Nice. External set script file is mentioned in the lecture also. If I'm not correct, I saw from the lecture only I got that word. Otherwise, it is not in my.
Yeah, once sir may have used it, not extensively, because I have seen the lectures. I will see once again. If that is the case, we will be consistent.
If that would be make us easier because we are confused when to write a set command. For you, a set script means now after doing many mistakes, we are aware of it. Okay, set script means you are expecting the code in an external file.
Did you work on the week 7 assignments?
Week 7, yes, sir. There is only one question for that.
Okay.
Which uses that word. There is only one question, and that is also configured in a different way from that what is configured in the mock test. If you see the configuration for that, that is different.
What is the difference?
So, there it is very clearly you are redirecting it to an echo to a file. It is very clear from the screen itself. I can see I am writing something. It is going into a file and that is being executed.
Okay.
If you go into the mock, it is not clear what is happening at all. Same question. So these sort of nuances make it difficult for, and without debugging, it becomes very difficult for us. For question 5, I wrote a command ls.l, which after 8 weeks, I should know 100% what is the output. That is expected of me, right? If I write ls.l, I should be very aware what is the output of it. When I wrote it in my portal, it was showing something else itself.
In which question?
Question number 5.
Question number 5 of?
Question number 5 of OPP1.
And what was the question?
There was some perms function question, if I remember correct.
No. Question number 5 was awk. Perms function. Okay. Perms
posted in the forum also. It was the question was some perms function question. I don't know the question number.
Okay, so you are talking about the perms function question.
Suppose if you write ls.l,
okay.
And you just after that, what did I do? I just cut it with a delimiter and I wanted the first field.
Okay.
This is what I should. That is what I tried, but it was not outputting at all.
So what? And when you did ls minus l, it was printing that.
ls minus l was printing, but no ls. I'm telling. What I did was ls minus l. I piped it and I cut it with the delimiter space and field 1.
Okay, so without the cut or none of the echo statements was working, or none of the command output was being shown there.
This command output was showing something different.
And other command outputs, if you try other things for suppose echo start and something like that.
That I got stuck with all this testing and troubleshooting, and I could not proceed further.
No, because in that nobody can do anything. So if your command is some command is not printing something as desired, because we are not fetching any of your command in your script and try to run it or try to suppress the output or nothing. We run your function as it is. So I don't know what could go wrong there, because if you have written something in in your function, that will be interpreted by bash. Our script won't be doing anything in between.
So because I'm saying because most of us are new, we will not be able to present our case very firmly. Because we are not sure where the error is. But these after eight weeks of this course, we are able to somewhat say, okay, we did this. We are sure there should have been some output, but it is not coming correct.
No, so regarding
in the portal, if you could just check and see what happens for that and why it is happening.
No, so what happens is a lot of times it has happened with me. People have reported, then I have corrected the mistake in their code and it was printing the output. This is what has happened a lot of times. On in the live coding session also it happened, and on the discourse also. People were using different file names. Okay, they have just used a different file name on their local machine and they just copy paste the same code from their local machine to portal, and they say that the same code is working on my local machine, but it's not working here because the file name expected to be read is different, and it was mentioned in the question. So this has happened a lot of times. You can go to discourse and you can find such queries.
Any chances of the portal having some debugging, or we could see some output and also changes?
It will take some time because that is like I would be happy to see something like Replit, where you can in a side pane you can run your commands that are not part of your script. That would be the best. I think you guys. What do you think? Will that help?
Maybe if you could just get,
Yes.
we could SSH into something and give our exam on that. We cannot do that. We can have a port. We have an interface where we feel we're in a terminal itself.
So have you tried some? Have you used Replit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm seeing that there's a shell on the right pane in the Replit. So I think I have asked for that. Let's see when it happens. So that would be the best thing that you can have.
That would be better.
So what you will be able to do there is that you can just run a ls minus l there. You want to see the output of ls, you want to see something else, you can do it.
You're saying there is the shell option, console and shell option.
Yes, you can directly run something on the console.
Yeah, I can type ls.l, what is there. Okay, this is much easier and much clearer. But it is not natural, what I'm practicing on my terminal.
And I will tell you what students have done. We have asked for awk script, they write ls minus l in it and they try to run it. Then what do you expect from us to configure that everything should run? That we should write an intelligent program in configuration script where it checks like what command you are running. If it is awk, then we'll run awk. If it is in a sed script, we'll run sed script. If it is a bash command, we'll run it through bash. That's not possible, right? So we have a lot of queries in that way also. People have tried to run ls minus l and awk scripts also.
For this, I have to agree. I also made the same mistake, but
yeah, because there's no graceful solution there. We cannot write such intelligent programs for each and every question.
But it took us time to understand what the question is asking. After 8 weeks, now we understood. Okay, you're asking an awk solution or bash solution or something.
No, but it is specifically written. Write a bash script, write a awk script. And let me tell you why there was a very simple question. Problem number 7 was very simple, where you had to write a set script. So in GRPAs, what we did was that we asked for set command. But the thing is that if you are given access to bash, then you would you would write grep, or you can write other command awk also there. You can write an awk command to accomplish the task. That's why we have given specifically set script, so that you have to write the set script only. Otherwise, people could have written awk script. Got it?
Mostly, I have to agree with the questions were not difficult per se. That I think everyone should agree. It is not that the questions were difficult or very different.
So at least you agree, the bash questions were not difficult.
I was worried about only one question out of this thing.
Okay, rest you have all done all.
I was not able to solve in the portal, but I came home by the evening 7 o'clock. I was able to solve all questions.
Yeah, so that's what we were expecting. Like at least the best. Suppose so you guys have you misinterpreted the set script, and instead of set script you tried writing a set command. Leave
Ah.
that question. Other questions like the first 4 questions were bash.
Sir, the first question all the most people have answered. That backslash thing took a little bit of time.
Okay, closing it.
Closing it key we did not. I think I did not realize key rest of the command was okay, but that closing part took time. Maybe everybody has a different. Maybe when the results come out, it will be more clear.
Yeah. So the thing is that there we had used slash to write a single command in 2 lines. We have described even that.
That was the first time where we used that EOF
Yes.
EOF operator where you go to the next line in the same command.
Yeah, that's why we described it in the question. What you have to do.
Time with this put.
Okay, in quiz we asked something which required which involved sort command, and sort command was not taught to you, right? So we mentioned what sort does and what are the option for sort in quiz in the question itself.
Maybe we require more practice of the GRP and TP.
Yeah, so wherever there's something that we want you to like you would have not seen that in lectures, we try to give that as a hint or directly as a note in the question itself.
Sir, can we increase the PPA? No, sir.
PPAs?
Because after the GRPA weeks are closed, we are not able to practice them at all if the week is ending.
I will give you a better option for now. If you want to practice, just go to Replit. There are a lot of questions are configured. Code with a session. 7 to 8 questions of every week. You can practice them anytime.
That is what I've been trying.
So have you ever joined the team on Replit?
I solved the questions on Replit.
Okay, so that means you have already joined the team.
Although I'm not sure what joining team is. I have the questions open in front of me and I have that answers there.
Answers you will not find on Replit. Answers you will have to go to portal and you will have to get it from miscellaneous.
I solved it. I'm not sure what team joining means. I have that open in front of me and I've solved all questions.
Okay, so no, you guys are already in the team.
Okay.
So you just have to open that team under that system commands team. You will find all the questions for all of the weeks. There are even extra questions. There are refresher weeks also. Weeks 1 to 4 questions. The problem is you should try to solve these questions yourself. Some of the questions at least. So in initial questions, if you want to do a Google search for some concept, you can do that. But at least out of 8 last 2 questions or 2 questions, you should be able to solve entirely by yourself without searching anything. So if you spend more time in solving this yourself, then it would be easier for you when you don't have any reference material. Okay. So you got the questions?
Yes, we got.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
Anybody?
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, there was a, in the OPP exam, my code was, passing the public test case, but not the private test case. So,
Okay.
how can I find out that what I was doing wrong? Because as the, previous student has pointed out that there was only one public test case. So if I was passing that test case, but I was not passing the private test case, then how would I know that what I am doing wrong? This is my question.
That is specific to question. Which question was it?
The same one, the deleting one.
Deleting the files.
Yes, we have to delete the files.
Okay.
Public test case was passing, but
Okay.
not the private one.
I will tell you what the private test case in this is. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So the public test case, I will show you just now. Just a second. So either you have used an echo statement to pass the public test case. Just see the output and just print what the output is. Otherwise, I don't think logically it should fail. See, it is just a repetition. You see, these are the values for public test case and private test case. We have just used the repetition. 1, 1,
Okay.
1, 1, 1. The file names are just one, routine 1, to do 1, reminder 1. Instead of 5 files test cases, there are 5 files, there are 10 files. So this this is not every time what we do. Okay. So I don't think if something passes this test case, it will fail this one. If the logic is right, you can just write 3 echo statements and the public test case will pass, right? But the private
Okay.
test case won't pass because you don't know these values.
Sir, all are files, sorry to interrupt, in that input, in the public
Yes.
input?
Yes. So directories we would have created by our code.
Okay.
My code removed sports out of and remained to do somehow. My code removed from the input sports and it to do was still there. So I could not understand why it is if you have configured it this way. Then it becomes an impossible case to understand.
Yeah, I also can't understand because the same
See.
codes read the input and
Sir,
create
you
to do
understood,
file
right?
also.
I've given
Yeah,
this
yeah.
input, I've wrote on a code. It removed sports. Matlab
Yeah.
something happened and to do was still there. So I am not able to understand why is to do there and why is sports removed.
Okay.
Either you should do nothing. So I will say, okay, nothing has happened. Let me try something else. You are doing something and I'm not able to distinguish what is happening.
Okay, so I'm suspecting something is happening here. So yeah, I will have to check that. So if that has happened with you, so that could be related to some space being inserted in to do file. You are checking size as 0, right?
I am just checking size is equal to 0 and executing and removing it.
So empty file and size 0 file may be different cases. I will check that. If there is an issue in configuration, I will update you. I am suspecting something. Let me check that.
Okay, so just
excuse
if
me,
you could
sir.
just have a look, you understand you why it happened.
Yeah. So that is a different case, but the one that we were discussing, it is not for that, where it passed the public test case, but not the private. That I'm not sure. I cannot say without seeing the code.
Okay.
But yeah,
Excuse me,
your
sir.
suggestion is taken. We will give more test cases, at least in GRPs and exams. We will try to give
Yes.
more test cases.
And then when we can expect OPP questions to be released?
Question and solutions.
Yes, both.
Yeah, you can assume on Monday after OPP2. We can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir, I had the doubt in the same question. What I
Yeah.
did was in the cheat sheet there was a command for file. If file is empty, we can know that. And
Yeah.
I ran a for condition, a for loop, and an if condition, wherein it checks if it's empty. It goes down and it removes it. I've
Yeah.
done the same, and it worked for the public test case, but not for the private test case.
Okay. So I will check this question.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I think I have used the find command. You have also specified in the cheat sheet.
No,
I
I
think.
am suspecting something else. It's not related to using find or not. It is size 0 versus empty.
Okay. Yes.
I have to check that. I have to check if empty considers files with spaces in it. That could
Okay.
be the case, and there could be a space inserted in the test
Yes,
case.
that will, yeah, that
In the
will be
input.
count as a bit. Yes.
Yeah. So let me check that. I don't know that yet. I'm just
Okay.
suspecting that
Okay.
if that is the case.
Sir, you could also add the file names, normal file names, which would make us easier to understand if something is happening.
Normal file names means?
With some extension, with some normal extension, so that we can distinguish between a directory and file names, and instead of just leaving it as an input.
Instead of using simple file names without any
Suppose
extension.
if you look at the input for file, that question number 2.
Okay.
I am not able to understand if it is a file name, it is a directory, what is it, looking at the input on the first glance, which is not part of the question.
Okay.
If
Okay. Yeah, I got your point. In some of the questions, that's why I tried to explain we have in the question itself, we have mentioned what the sample input and sample output is. So the thing is that this is not your like a normal kind of course where we always give you a input array or input file where you have to work on. Sometimes you have to work on actually like if you see the question number 3 in OPP, there you have to move files, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah. So there you had to move files. So just for the sake of debugging and all these things, we have added the code such that it lists all the files, all the directories and the files inside those directories, all the subdirectories. But in GRPAs, I agree that in a lot of cases there was no input and output, and you had to work on some file, you have to delete some file, or you have to work on current working directory. So there was no input for you guys. And sometimes in GRPS, what we have done, the configuration was directly from code, not from input. We have created some files. Suppose we have to create some directory, so we have written the code mkdir xxxx something directly in the configuration code. We have not taken anything from the input.
So I have one small doubt in this replit questions.
Yeah.
There are some questions in which we use the rm command and remove some files.
Yeah.
So how to reset it after removing it, because I made some, if the error is not, output is not satisfied. You understood the point I'm trying to make?
I don't know how you can do it because on Replit there's no, you have autonomy on Replit.
No,
Okay.
because you have set the file. The question asks for removing.
Yeah, let me tell you what happens is that I have set something. So exact copy of that instance of that scenario is created for you. Now you own that.
Suppose week 7 problem 1 I show you.
Yeah. Let me tell you. That's what I'm saying. And now you have created an instance of that problem. So that instance is different than any other instance your friend is working on, or even I'm working on, the creator of the question. So what happens is once you have forked from it, once you have created an instance, it will copy the state, the same state it was in that time. Now, if you have deleted something, you are the owner of that. So the best thing that you can do is either you can ask us and we can give you the files, or you can ask your friend who would have not deleted it, because I don't think there is another option in Replit.
Sir,
you can,
actually there is.
Is there?
Yes, you can just delete that repo and refresh that page, and you will again get the option to start working, or like you can get a new
Have
repo.
you tried that? You should not be like pushed out of the team.
No, yeah, everything works fine. I've tried.
Okay. So just create a new instance. So it will take from
No,
the
just delete
Yeah.
it and then go back to that page. You will get that option to create a new instance.
Okay. If that works, then if there is an option for that, then good. It's very good.
Yes, sir. Because when I solve the problem, like I do get that same issue sometimes. So I do that. Like I did that many times because I've solved all the problems.
Okay.
You're asking us to leave this IIT 22 T1 system commands and come back.
No, I'm asking you to delete the repo. Do not leave the group. Just
Don't
delete
leave
the
the team.
repo.
Is there any option to I'm currently in front of me, but I didn't see the option where I can delete.
Okay. If you want, I can share my screen in doing that. Like try first, and then if there is permission, I can show it live.
Delete option. I don't see a delete option. Okay, sir. I'll also check if there is some delete option, and then I'll get in discourse forum maybe.
Yes, yes. Okay, guys. Anything else? Anybody? So we are at the end of this session. If there is anything, please let me know.
Sir, should I like show how to do that by sharing the screen or something?
Which one?
The deleting the repo from
Okay,
Replit.
share it. But for sharing, actually, I will have to get you the co-host permission. It will take some time. I will have to message the guys. Can you post it on Discord and people will be able to help you there? Hello.
Okay, so who
Or
like the
just let me
original
do one
person?
thing. Let me do one thing. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, let's see it that way. So somebody was there who knew where the option is, right? Please help us.
You have to click on name of the file and then delete it.
Okay. So suppose this is the problem. I need to get it. I don't know if you will get those options. From where is the option that you are saying?
Click on the name of the file.
Here?
No, name of the file. Name of the file. Week 2
Sir,
problem
week
1.
2 problem 1. Yeah, week 2 problem 1. Sir,
Week
22 system commands / week 2 problem 1. You click there.
Left.
Yeah.
Now the
Here.
3 dots option.
Okay, you can delete it from here. So
yes,
you got the option?
Yes.
Got the option?
So now it is clear.
Okay. I won't delete it because I am the owner. I don't think then I would be able to retrieve it.
I just checked it right now, sir. It works. You get all the files.
Yeah. Nice then. It's a good. We should actually have it. Okay, got it? Okay, guys. So all the best for your exams. And we will have a revision session next week. And we'll meet then. Till then, all the best for your programming exam also. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.